Well, a fascinating day. This morning, President Obama caught a fainting woman standing behind him. Did you catch that? He then said, "This is what happens when I talk too long." He was up on the stage talking about Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act, excuse me, and how, he was a little upset that the website wasn't working quite the way it was supposed to. We need to be very clear about why that website is not working the way it's supposed to. And the website is not working the way it's supposed to because a whole bunch of Republican states said, we're not going to set up our exchanges. And so it was supposed to be just a portal, just a pass-through point to each individual, because every state has different insurance standards. They have different carriers who are offering plans. There are differences in those plans. They have different eligibility rates for Medicaid and, for subsidies, different poverty, all these kind of things. I mean, it's every state has this huge collection of database stuff. And you've got, about 30 states, Republican-run states, that said, screw it. We're not going to do it. And so the federal site, and keep in mind, the Republicans shut down the government last week and the week before and cost us $24 billion. The federal website has only had about $200 million spent on it. That's 0.2 billion. Now, before the shutdown, Boehner was saying, we got to shut down the government to stop Obamacare. It's so bad. Now Boehner is saying, people want Obamacare so much, but they can't get it. The website is bad. So we should criticize the Democrats and the administration for having a bad website. So let me get this straight. You spend $24 billion shutting down the government, and now you're complaining that a $200 million website, 0.2 billion, doesn't work the way it's supposed to? Because 30 of your colleagues in the states have said, we'll leave it to the feds. It's working fine in Connecticut. It's working fine in California. It's working fine in Kentucky, of all places. Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul's hometown. So it's just one of those very, very, very strange goings on. By the way, Rich Trumka today came right out and said, any Democrat who votes to cut Social Security, which would be the chain CPI that they're talking about, the AFL-CIO is going to work to, he says, let me give you the exact quote. This warning goes double for Democrats. We will never forget, we will never forgive, and we will never stop working to end your career. So, you really want to crawl into bed with Mr. Simpson and Mr. Bowles? David Seelig is on the line with us, conservative commentator, pro-business advocate. His website is truetaxhelp.com. And David, welcome back to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Tom. I'm starting to get the feeling whenever you need a whooping boy, you give me a call.
Well, I wasn't thinking of it in those terms. I thought you might be able to bring some light to this and share with us the conservative perspective on Obamacare. I'm a little confused. First of all, it was an existential threat to America that was so bad it was worth crashing the world economy over. And now the complaint seems to be the website doesn't work as well as it should.
Right.
In fact, I mean, this is like a verbatim quote from John Boehner, actually. Let me just share these two quotes with you really quickly.
Sure.
He said, I'm appalled that this was a month ago, September. I'm appalled that Obamacare exists. And now he says, I'm appalled that people aren't, actually, this isn't a quote. It's a paraphrase. He's complaining about the website. So, what is the emerging and evolving conservative and Tea Party position, and are they at odds?
Well, I got to tell you, Tom, it is a cold day in hell when I am going to defend Boehner. I get the feeling he walked off of the set from Mad Men or such. I have a hard time following his argument. But
well, he does have a cigarette and a cocktail, in each hand at most times.
One of the things that I have an issue with can we call it Obamacare? That's all right?
Sure.
Is that it really screws the young people of America having to carry our burden. I mean, you and I, Tom, we're successful. We're older white men. You and I are financially successful. And yet, we're asking these young men and women, they're just getting out of college, they have onerous debts and obligations, to pick up our slack. So, if over the fullness of time we've developed a medical problem or something of the kind, that they pay for us. And that doesn't seem right to me. And if they don't pay for us, we're going to give them a penalty, a financial kick in the patoot. The segment of our society that can least afford it, they got to carry our water. For what? What did we ever do to make these people?
Well, we're actually, speaking in the very personal you and me, as I'm assuming that, we're both people who probably have a little more than the average income and therefore pay a little more than the average in taxes.
Sure.
We're going to be paying for our health insurance, whereas those young people that you're talking about who might just be starting out, they're making little enough that you and I, through our taxes, are going to be picking up the cost of the subsidies so that they can get health insurance for very, very little.
Penalized if they don't flip the bill, they're going to hit a penalty.
Come on,
this
David.
Is like Robin Hood in reverse.
Oregon is signing people up left and right. My three kids live in Oregon, and their friends who are not making a lot of money are looking at these programs. Hey, I can get free health insurance. I can get health insurance for $100 a month. I mean, this is a good deal. But there's a larger question here, David. You and I both also pay taxes to support the local fire department.
Sure.
And thank God, knock on wood, my house has never caught on fire. I'm assuming yours hasn't. It's pretty rare. And yet we still continue to pay for it. Is that unfair?
No, Tom, but that's not a fair comparison, and you know it. The fact of the matter is, let's set aside the people who are going to benefit from the program, get the low-cost insurance. Let's talk about the tens and thousands of these young men and women who are going to have to pay the penalty, and the government. These government bean counters have figured out all the millions and billions of dollars.
Well, come on, David. You are a tax consultant. You know that the IRS is not going to be enforcing that penalty, first of all.
They are going to enforce it, contraire, Pierre.
And secondly, it's only $200 for the first year, right?
Yeah, that's today.
And thirdly, that's only if you're stupid enough to take the Koch brothers' advice and not buy health insurance.
Oh, wait a minute.
Even if you can get it for free.
I don't think we should insult.
But David, back to my fire department. I mean, if you're okay paying for a socialist fire department because you think that we should put out people's houses when they catch on fire, shouldn't we be just as concerned about somebody's body having a crisis as somebody's house? Shouldn't we all be collectively paying into a health insurance program that takes care of people's bodies when they do the equivalent of the house catching on fire when they get cancer or an infection?
Yeah, Tom, but why do we have to penalize 20-somethings?
We're not.
We have enough debt and problems? Sure we are.
Any 20-something, I get it that there are some 20-somethings who are already internet billionaires and they're going to pay, the full load. But a 20-something who's just starting out, who's making $10, $15, $20, $30, even $30,000 a year is going to get health insurance for, in most states, free or close to free.
And if they don't, they're going to pay a penalty. So you and I can enjoy something.
So they should do it. They should sign up, and we should be helping them instead of sitting on the sidelines throwing stones at it.
I'm not throwing stones, and you know it, Tom. The other thing, and I've mentioned this to you before that I really took offense with, is the shady accounting tactics they use to try to pass this bill of goods.
Well, that's because the Republicans demanded that it be revenue neutral. It actually reduces the deficit, so that's why they had to spread out the rollout over 3 years.
Anyway, is that the wrap-up music, or do I have a moment?
No, that's the wrap-up music. But David, thank you very much for the call. Thanks for being with us today.
I'm happy out in D.C. Conversations with great minds.
Thank you. TrueTaxHelp.com.